Top dude. Oh. Anyway, Shefty, let's move along.
Before I saw the room that they were prepping for the Pat McAfee show tomorrow. I saw it. It's all set up. It is a nice little setup for you. You're going to be very happy. Nice. You're going to have owners and GMs and coaches walking past you the entire time.
Yep.
You're gonna be in a good spot.
Speaking of, I think Brandon Beane's gonna be stopping by.
Hell yeah.
I think Kalen Jackson, who's the owner of the Colts, will be stopping by. I think Ryan Poles, Big Pole Poles, will be stopping by. I'm sure there will be a few others.
Tommy T.
I think Kevin O'Connell will be stopping by.
Okay.
We don't know if the Kraft family's going to stop by because of what you guys have been saying.
I'll put in a good
about
word.
the docuseries. Shefty.
I actually just passed one of them literally 30 seconds ago,
Which
right
one?
as I was answering the phone.
The young one?
Yes, sir.
Was he taking credit for everything?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Just out of curiosity.
Taking credit, no.
That Apple documentary does not. People are not happy. The Patriots fans are not happy with the Crafts with how it paints them. First bill. Nonetheless, you're working hard. We apologize for taking your time.
No problem.
We're bitching about the hip drop tackle. Okay, that's what we're doing as ex-players. AJ, all-time leading tackler for Green Bay, is actually disgusted by it. He's not the only one. A lot of football players are that played on the defensive side of the ball. When something like this gets passed, the immediate thought is, well, they can make stats up for anything. Like, once they ban this, then there'll be another form of tackle that's like, hey, this tackling form is actually 40% more likely to injure. Is there a fear in the conversation at all about, like, we're just kind of letting this kind of get away from what football is? Is that even talked about, you think?
You know, I'll say this, that I know it passed, they said unanimously, but I spoke to some teams that weren't in favor of this and didn't love the sounds of it. And I just think it's the league's continuing efforts to do what it can to make what's an unsafe sport a little bit safer, or to try to make it safer. It's going to make the jobs of the defensive players infinitely more difficult because, AJ, how many times did you say you deployed a hip drop tackle?
Why'd you unweight yourself?
I never heard the term until about 6 months ago, Shefty, so I have no clue how many times I did that.
Wow. And it's got to be a weird thing, right? If you're a player out there and you're trying to think about how to not tackle a guy like that, it's just not a natural act.
So what are you supposed to Shefty, you're in the room with these people. Ask them. The next time old buddy walks by, say, so what are we supposed to... So they're supposed to ride him down to the ground? That's what they're supposed to do? Like it's a bulldog in the WWE? Grab him by the waist? Hey, we're going down. Are they supposed to trip him? No, it can't trip.
No.
Can't trip somebody. Yeah. What are you supposed to do?
And no horse collar allowed either.
So you got to run.
That's not allowed.
So are we dolphining like in front of them to try to trip like with our bodies? Like has there been I assume this is going to get massively loud whenever the season starts. Let's pivot away from that. Let's talk about something else going on down there. All these rules that are being pitched, some of them get tabled until May, like the kickoff rule. That's going to get voted and passed on this particular meeting, or is it going to get tabled to May?
I don't know about that. Hey, let me tell you something right about that kickoff rule, okay? Let me take you behind closed doors.
That's where you are.
Well, I'm in an open door area, but I'll take you behind closed doors. Again,
well, shut the door,
some teams not happy about the new kickoff rule. They feel like it's just too much of a radical change to figure out so quickly. Now, again, I thought this morning that it might have gotten through, but I obviously heard from a number of teams here already that they don't love this idea. Now, the league wants this because the rate of return last year dropped dramatically. There were no kickoff returns in the Super Bowl, and there are people who clearly support it. But I'm telling you, there are people who are really nervous about it. Coaches have a lot to figure out already. There's a lot on their plates. They don't want to have to figure out more things. And this new kickoff rule would be a huge, huge change that would cause a lot of people to have to get used to a lot of different things.
That makes sense. That's why they moved it back to the 30 instead of 35, because teams would just kick it into the end zone anyways. Let's punt on this for a year, and then maybe we'll change it next year to move to 35. But I think if they keep it, or I guess there was an amendment made from touchbacks going to the 35 to the 30 within the last couple of days. I think teams will still just kick touchbacks. We'll still have the same ceremonial, monotonous thing. 35, I think it would have been a little bit different, but that might be just so they can experience it for a year and then see what happens next year. Thank you for that info. That's huge, because I was told that every special teams coordinator was basically on board because they were forced to, almost. Because, hey, we're going to get rid of the kickoff if you're not on board with this. So you either come up with a better idea or you get on board with this one. It's nice to hear that some of the owners are like, come on, little Mickey Mouse. We're not doing this.
I'm just telling you, I was surprised but definitely everybody's not on board with it because it would be a radical departure from what people know. Now, sometimes that's fine. You get used to it. But sometimes when I think the league senses there is some opposition to this, and there is, maybe you just try it in the preseason to see how it goes, or maybe not. Maybe they just say, hey, we're going to try this year, see how it goes, and we can adjust from there. We'll try it on a trial basis for 1 year. I don't know how it's going to work out, but I don't think it's a deadlock cinch to pass, and there are certainly people that want modifications to it right now.
So the fair catch thing was a 1-year trial as well. They're trying to figure out how to save the kickoff, allegedly. We don't want as much contact, but we also don't want as many touchbacks. We got to save the play, but also we'll get rid of it. It's a wild time at the NFL for specialists and for kickoff people. Go ahead, AJ.
Shefty, is there anything that we haven't really talked about that's not out there publicly that's kind of on the horizon that they might be thinking about implementing maybe in May or even later down the road?
Sometimes those things pop up, AJ. I haven't heard anything like that. We talked about the trade deadline being pushed back a week, which I think that would be kind of cool. The longer it is, the later it is, the better it is for teams. I think they'd like to see another week put onto that. That would be kind of fun and interesting if they could do that. Sometimes these rule changes pop up. We know that obviously the tush push is staying intact. No support to change that. So that's going to be back next year. No changes to that rule. We'll see what other rules, but I don't know any off the top of my head right now.
How about this? There's a topic of conversation that involves one handsome man. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Shefty, what about the whole Tom Brady situation? I know going into this, we heard that they're going to be voting on, whether or not he was going to be allowed to have ownership, and then I don't know if that got tabled or just moved completely to a different date. Has there been any update on that and the likelihood that that's going to get okayed by the owners and Tom Brady will be allowed to have at least part ownership?
Yeah, I think what's going on there, it's not expected to be reintroduced here at this meeting. It's not expected to get resolved one way or another at this meeting. And I think what slowed this is that I think there was an agreed-upon price that was a little bit below what the league felt was fair value. And so they're trying to go through this and figure out the right way for Tom Brady to be approved as a limited owner of the Raiders, and I do think that there's momentum towards that. But the interesting part, of course, is that he's going to be working for Fox next year, and some people, thought that day might not come where he would be broadcasting. But he is all in on this broadcasting venture, and he wants to be a broadcast, and he's going to be a part of their A team right now. Hey, you want to pop on here right now? We got here. This is Mr. Tepper here. That's the Pat McAfee show.
Sir.
Is this the show?
Yeah, that's it. But I'm on my. You see, I got my headphones on.
We have heard a lot about you, sir. Sir.
Yeah.
I know he's a big fan of me.
He says you're a big fan of his, right?
I hear him all the time. Big fan.
Hey, tell him he's the most.
Almost as good looking as me, so I understand.
Shefty, tell him
he said you're almost as good looking as he is.
Hey, tell him he's the most entertaining owner in the league by far, please.
He says you're the most entertaining owner in the league by far, Mr. Tepper. Okay, there you go.
What did he say to that?
What did he say back? What did he say back?
He said, there you go. There you go.
Okay, we have talked a lot about him.
He's going to rip apart the set right now.
He's going to be so mad you put us, because everything we talk about with him is, fires 100 guys, throws ice at people, talks shit, files bankruptcy, buys somebody's house, tears it down. The guy's by far the most entertaining, but that's what the owner meetings are. We appreciate you checking in from down there. A couple questions about stuff that isn't owners meetings related, if that's okay.
Bring it on.
Go ahead, Conrad.
Yeah, Shefty, big news this weekend. L'Jarius Sneed traded from the Chiefs to the Titans for a 7th-round swap this year and a 3rd-round pick next year. Were the Titans always the front runners? And were any other teams going to be in there towards the end that maybe made a late push to get him? And also, what are the specifics of the contract? Because the money's been reported as 19 per year, 55 guaranteed. Is it in that ballpark, or is that still being settled?
Yeah, I expect it to be right in that ballpark. Again, he was going through the physical today. If and when he passes that physical, which I expect him.
Oh, no. Tepper just shut that down.
Yeah.
Did you see? That's the power Tepper has. He's back.
I expect that physical to happen today. I expect he passes. I expect the deal to be formalized, the contract to be formalized, and that'll get done roughly $19 million per year. Now, again, the Titans were the team that was trying to make it happen. Here's the play that he made in the playoff game, which was as big a play as the Chiefs had in the postseason.
Yeah.
Obviously helped save that game in Baltimore and propelled them to the Super Bowl. And they did speak to other teams. Like there were conversations at one point briefly with the Vikings. There may have been a brief conversation with the Colts. Although, Pat, like I told you, again, both sides told me that never went anywhere. It never went anywhere. I don't think L'Jarius Sneed to Indy was ever a real viable option ever.
We get it.
Shefty.
Jeez Louise.
So Tennessee was the team that was in on him all along. And that's ultimately where he's going to wind up once he passes this physical today.
Okay, 19 mil and what a washer machine. That's what it took to get him, right?
Well, here's the thing, is that the Chiefs weren't entirely comfortable paying him, and they needed the salary cap space back. And the best offer they could get was the 2025 third round pick. And so that again, you don't want to lose a player as great as L'Jarius Sneed, but they felt like they had to do this.
Why'd they tag him then? There's a whole lot of they think.
Well, you tag him because there's value. You don't want him just to walk out the door, and you feel like you can get something back for him.
Got it.
So,
a third rounder.
Yeah, well, that's what you get. Plus, there's if they're signing free agents, you could wipe out the compensatory formula. So they felt like it was in their best interest to tag him, preserve his rights, and then obviously they work out a trade with Tennessee to get him.
We'll pick up a second or a first for this guy.
Yeah.
Hey, no problem at all. Third next year, and then a swap in a seventh. Let's do it. Let's do it. It's just like the Chicago Bears with Justin Fields. You know how that thing went from, what was Mel Kiper saying?
Real quick.
Eighth overall
pick potentially. He wasn't the only one that was thinking that, but his clip is obviously going. Yeah. And then now it's obviously next year 6. Speaking of that team, Tone Diggs has a question for you, Shefty.
Yeah, Shefty, Mike Tomlin spoke this morning, I believe, at the AFC coaches breakfast, and he
sweaty.
was
It was hot. Is it hot down there?
It's mild. It's fine. You'll be comfortable.
Thick though. Orlando's thick. Normally.
Humid. Yes.
That's why I'm talking sweating. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna be sweating my dick off tomorrow.
But Tomlin said that right now Russ is in the quote unquote pole position going into the season, and mostly because Russ is a veteran. He's a Super Bowl winner. He's led off-season workouts. He's led off-season programs. So he is just a more senior in that area, but he spoke highly of Justin Fields. And when it gets to training camp and preseason games, Justin Fields is going to have a chance to show his skills. Did you take that how I kind of took that Russ is the starter right now, but Justin Fields will potentially get a chance?
Well, it's Russ's job going in, and then Russ can keep playing as long as he keeps playing well. Like, you can see he's working out. He's all in on this. He believes, going to Pittsburgh is going to reignite him, and he's coming off a year where he had 26 touchdown passes and 8 interceptions. He believes he's going to play great. So if Russell plays the way that he expects, then he'll keep rolling. And if he doesn't, he struggles, hit some speed bumps, they have Justin Fields there. That would be an option at that point in time. But I don't think that's how Russell's thinking. I think going in, the Steelers know they have a viable backup in Justin Fields. Yeah, there it is. Love the work. The best is this is what Russell believes.
Yeah.
And so as long as
that's what he knows.
Is loving the work and the best is ahead, he'll keep being the guy. That's going to happen.
I did appreciate that there for a time. People were saying Russell's new sign-off that he just created for Pittsburgh is, here we go. I did appreciate that. Like the let's ride. That's everything that Russell does now. Everything he says is going to be chatted about. Everything he does is going to be chatted about. You're talking about a potential future Hall of Famer, first ballot, especially if he's able to get things going with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Justin Fields backing him up. Not a bad quarterback room all of a sudden in Pittsburgh. We appreciate the hell out of you, Shefty. We'll see you tomorrow. I'll be sweating. You'll look fantastic.
Well, we'll be here waiting for you. The room looks great. You're going to have owners, GMs, coaches. So you'll have a great show tomorrow. Much better than today when you're stuck with me and Tepper here, trying to fill the time.
Hey, listen, we are trying to fill the time for like the next 4 months. Okay, so know that you did a great job here. But also, you might have just extended an olive branch from us to Tep.
Yeah.
Like that was we appreciate
New
that.
best friends.
We appreciate
Hey, listen, let's get him back on for a return engagement tomorrow.
We sent the request. We already sent the request. Literally within 2 minutes.
Yeah, you know what? Here's the deal. You reach out to the PR guy. I'll give you the number, okay? Text me. And then here's what you say. Like, David Tepper came on today, and we warmed him up. He warmed up to us, and we're now ready for an even bigger, in-depth look into his life in the Carolina. Yeah, exactly.
We're trying to correct some things. We're trying to correct some narratives that we firmly believe because of all the things that we have kind of witnessed. What do we not know about that we need to learn about? Is his name Bruce, the person you're talking about?
Yeah, text Bruce.
All right, we already hit Bruce up. That baby Zito.
That baby
Zito. All right, thank you so much, Shefty. We'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Ladies
Have a great day.
Yeah.
What you learned there, AJ? What you learned there?
David Tepper's pretty awesome, is what I learned. Actually.